A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Weekend Live. We have quite a lot of stories lined up for you tonight, but first, let's take a look at stories hitting the headlines tonight. President RUTO tours Trans Nzoia, promising to empower the agricultural sector in the county. Gachagua promises to flush out cartels in the agriculture sector. Raila Odinga to revive public barazas upon jetting back to the country. And in the world of sports, 8 matches scheduled for tomorrow in the KPL match action. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Ruth CHEPKOECH. I am IMBINDA. Massive welcome to the broadcast. President William Ruto has today joined the other leaders drawn from the government and church in Kitale Showground to attend the installation ceremony of Reverend Henry Juma Odonya as the new bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Kitale. The president has called for national unity while urging Kenyans to pay taxes.
While speaking during the installation ceremony of Reverend Henry Juma Odonya as the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Kitale, President William Ruto has urged Kenyans to join the government in national development. He has called upon Kenyans to pay taxes in order to increase revenue that will be used for development projects.
My good brother, natembea na viongozi wote wa Trans Nzoia. Mimi najua tumekubaliana ya kwamba tutakutana. And I want to give you my assurance we are going to meet shortly. Ili hiyo maneno yote mumesema niwaeleze vile tutaenda mbele pamoja.
At the same time, the president has urged leaders to forego political differences and cooperate with the government in order to realize the common goal of developing the nation. He has also promised that the government will not discriminate against any region of the country in the launching of development projects.
Nataka niwahakikishie ya kwamba tutawafanyia kazi kila Mkenya. Wale waliotupigia kura, wale hawakutupigia kura, wako na haki kwa sababu taifa la Kenya ni taifa moja.
While praising Trans Nzoia County for its history of being a top producer of food in the country, the president has promised that the government will allocate to the county 4 million bags of fertilizer and 2 million bags of top dresser to ease the cost of farm inputs.
Ningekuja jana lakini nilisema nataka kuwe na mwongozo na mpango mzuri. Wakulima wakisha jisajili, hatutaki wakuje mpaka Kitale kuchukua mbolea, tunataka kuwaletea mbolea karibu na mashamba yenu.
Sisi kama Trans Nzoia, mara ya mwisho kuona rais wa Kenya katika jimbo la Trans Nzoia ilikuwa mwaka wa 1992. Miaka 30 imekwisha, hatujawahi kuona sitting president katika Trans Nzoia.
The president has congratulated Reverend Juma Odonya for his new role as the Kitale Catholic Diocese Bishop, while also commending the outgoing Bishop Maurice Crowley for a critical role he played while serving in the diocese for the last 24 years.
I'm sure you now know why I won the elections. With somebody of the stature of Crowley telling people to work with William Ruto, what other outcome did you expect?
Nichukue fursa hii kumpongeza askofu mpya kwa kutunikiwa jukumu kubwa la kulinda diocese hii.
President William Ruto has urged the Catholic Church to plant trees in order to help the government fight climate change. Joseph Kess, KUTV.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says that the government will not back down in the fight to weed out corruption cartel rings, especially in the agriculture sector. The DP, who was speaking in his home county of Nyeri, remains upbeat that flashing out the cartels will turn around poor returns received by farmers in the tea and coffee subsectors.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has told Kenyans that the government is still fighting to flash out cartels, particularly in the coffee and tea sector. The Deputy President further attributed the poor returns witnessed by farmers to cartels, citing that they are the biggest problem.
Watu walikuwa wanakula pesa ya watu ya kahawa, mtafuta kitu kingine ya kukula. Si bonus umeona nimesukuma yuko mzuri. Si ni afadhali na bado. Hiyo watu ya KTDA niliwaita, nikawaketisha chini. Nikaambia hii mambo ya kupimia wakulima pesa kama dawa mwache.
Speaking in Othaya, Nyeri County, Rigathi accused the cartels of fighting back as a reaction to the government's intensified efforts at removing them. The second in command, however, insisted that he remains undeterred in the fight against tea cartels.
Mimi nimwambia nyinyi cartels, toeni pesa kwa hii watu ya magazeti. Muandike kutoka page 1 mpaka page 30. Muandike yote, mujaribu kunichafua, lakini pesa ya wakulima hamutakula tena.
President William Ruto recently directed the Deputy President to streamline the coffee and tea sector to ensure farmers reap more benefits, a task his Deputy Rigathi says he will diligently undertake in an effort to see to it that the farmers enjoy their labor.
Kuna kazi mingi sana ambayo inaendelea, lakini mambo ya barabara ilikuwa imesimama kwa sababu makontrakta wetu hawajalipwa na tulikuta deni ya bilioni 900 ya barabara peke yake.
The Deputy President also called on all Kenyans to exercise patience as the government lays down strategies of kickstarting stalled projects in the country. This comes days after the Kenya Tea Development Agency, KTDA, in cooperation with the government, gave 5.5 billion to small-scale tea farmers to be injected in their farming ventures. RUTH, Wanjiru, KU, TV.
Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir has won the first round of the petition challenging his nomination of the 10 members of County Executive. Employment and Labour Relations Court has declined to issue conservatory orders to block the approval process of the County Executive Committee, who petitioner says were irregularly nominated.
Mombasa Employment and Labour Relations Court has declined a request to block the approval of 10 county executive members appointed by Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Nasir on 16th of January this year. This comes after 4 residents from Mombasa complained to the court that the nominations were politically influenced. The 10 County Executive Committee member nominees include Francis Zoya of Environment and Solid Waste Management, Dr. Sohaba Ahmed of Health, and Evans Oanda for Finance and Economic Planning, among 7 others. In the ruling that certified the matter as urgent, late Justice Agnes Zay pointed out that the petitioners had failed to prove their case that stated that the governor contravened the constitution. Late Justice Agnes further allowed the respondents to file and serve their responses by Thursday 26th of this month. In an interview with the media barely a fortnight ago, the governor defended himself over the delayed nomination of his cabinet, denying the presence of a power vacuum in his county, given that the county executive committee members appointed by the previous Mombasa governor Hassan Joho were still serving. He also defended his choice of county executive committee members, saying they were fit for the job.
It is wrong to say that we don't have CECs, because we do have CECs. Just the fact that it is not my pen that appointed them does not mean that I fired them. And it does not mean that we don't have chief officers.
The governor of Mombasa was the last governor to name his county executive committee members after serving for 5 months. If the court shall allow for the approval of the 10 county executive committee members, Abdul Somad Sherif will work with them in his office for a period of 5 years. Mutunga Joseph, KUTV.
Opposition chief and Azimio party leader Raila Odinga is expected back in the country on the morning of Monday next week following a 10-day stay abroad. Upon arrival at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Odinga will proceed to the historic Kamukunji grounds for the first of lined-up public barazas, where he will unpack and discuss alleged disclosures by a whistleblower on the conduct of the 2022 general elections that saw him lose to the now President Dr. William Ruto. In his statement, the former Prime Minister appealed to all patriotic Kenyans to show up at the Kamukunji grounds in large numbers in the interest of the country. The registration exercise for subsidized fertilizer by farmers in Homa Bay recorded low turnout in the county. One of the area assistant chief, Salim Nyauke, said that the failure of the farmers to show up in large numbers and register for the subsidy has been a challenge and asked for extension of the exercise. This comes a day after the government rolled out training of national and county administrators who will spearhead the implementation of the cheap fertilizer subsidy ahead of the expected March rain. Speaking during the launch, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said that the pilot phase will cover 12 priority counties. The government subsidy program is pegged at improving yields and therefore ensure food security.
The government has introduced a fertilizer subsidy program in line with the bottom-up economic model. This will ensure more farmers are able to access affordable fertilizer distributed close to them. In the first phase, we target 2.1 million farmers in Narok, Bungoma, Uasin Gishu, Nakuru, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, Migori, Kakamega, Bomet, Kericho, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Nandi counties. The program is being fast-tracked so that farmers can utilize the fertilizers in the coming rains.
Kirinyaga County Women Representative Jen Jerry has welcomed the ongoing crackdown by the government on bars and nightclubs over their license obligations. Other leaders from the region have also voiced their concern over increased consumption of alcohol by the residents, especially the youthful demographic. Kadari Cherry now reports.
Kirinyaga County Women Rep Jen Jerry was speaking in Kianjega, India constituency, where she joined the area DCC John Bugura and chiefs in distribution of relief food in the area. It is here that she took the opportunity to address the issues surrounding the liquor business. Ms. Njeri urged the county government to ensure they restrict licensing of bars and restaurants to ensure that they adhere to provisions of the Alcoholic Drinks Control Act 2010, which prescribes how, when, and where entertainment operates. She said the county should cancel the licenses of those circumventing the law.
Sio vizuri eti kila mtu akijihisi anataka kufungua bar anaweza kutoa ile license na anafungua. Maana hata neighbor wako akiamua kufungua bar kesho, basi watoto wetu ndio wanapotea. Na tunajua kwamba hapa Central kuna shida ya kitu tunaita second generation alcohol. Na hata tumejaribu kuzungumza na administration na tunajua kwamba hiyo biashara ni biashara ya cartels. Kwa hivyo watoto wetu ndio wanaumia, lakini wale wengine wanatengeneza pesa. Kama wanafanya licensing ya bars hapa Kirinyaga, waite community kwanza.
The area DCC John Bugua on his part said they have arrested a notorious illicit brewer in the area who is now serving a 1-year jail term. He added that they will not relent in their effort to fight against the production and selling of brews.
Kuna jamaa fulani ambaye anaishi kwa hii milima huko upande wa Kairini ambaye tunasikia huyo ndiye amekuwa akifanya kazi mbaya. Tumemsaka na kwa saa hii anatumikia kifungo cha mwaka mmoja gerezani. Na ningependa kuwauliza tusaidianeni na wananchi kuhakikisha ya kwamba watoto wetu wako sawa, Wale wa kusoma wasome, wa kufanya kazi wafanye kazi.
David Madenge, representing Baragwi Ward in Kirinyaga County Assembly, said they will keep on checking the licensing department of the county to explain the procedure they are following.
Kuna ongezeko la bars kwa kila town. Unatembea town unakuta mabaa ni mingi hata kuliko kanisa, ni mingi kuliko maduka, na tunaomba waziri wa county Moshemi Dennis, unapopeana licenses kwanza chunguza, jua ni bangapi ziko kwa hiyo town. Fanyeni public participation, ulizeni wanjiko wananchi mnataka muongezewe bar ama zipunguzwe. Vijana hata tuendi kazi, kwanza tunaingia kwa hizo bar zingine zinauza pombe ambazo si halali.
This comes 2 months after Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja revoked licenses for nightclubs and joints for wines and spirits operating in residential areas to curb noise pollution. Kadari Chari reporting for KU TV.
Thank you, Kadari Chari, for that report. Now we're taking a fast break right here. The KU TV Weekend Live will be back with more stories. Don't go too far.
So now, our platform has been made in such a way that it's very, very simple to use. Our interface is very simple to use. If you need to make a call, it's just a simple call button and the call goes. If you need to receive a call, it's just a simple answer button and you're able to answer. So we've made the solution in such a way that it's easy enough for even myself to explain to my grandma back at home. So that is one of the things that we fully focus on. Ideally, one of the biggest reasons why we actually decided to build this in Africa is because of support services. So even before we let you start using the software, we have a short implementation period where we help you do the customizations.
I'm a freshman in Kenyatta University. This is all what I've heard about Canvas. Canvas is full of freedom.
Ni cumulative. Mchezo hiyo ili kutoka gani kwani?
I'm a fourth student and I mostly hang out at shopping center. I'm an arboretum, and what I'd tell first years is it's never too late to start being serious.
Welcome back. An Al-Shabaab attack on Somalia military base on Friday has claimed the lives of 7 soldiers. The camp was situated in a Somali town retaken by the army this week in a major offensive against the jihadist group. According to Somali government's information ministry, a senior special forces commander was among those killed after the Islamist militants stormed the base in Galkad, a town in central Somalia, about 375 kilometers north of the capital, Mogadishu. The information added that more than 100 fighters from the Al-Qaeda affiliated group were killed, even though there is still no proof to support this claim. China's new foreign minister Qin Gang this week wrapped up his first tour over Africa, where he visited 5 different nations and faced criticism from some experts who say his country is competing with the United States over influence in Africa. In response, Gang said China does not see the continent as the arena for a new power struggle between the West and Beijing. For more, view as Kate Bartlett reports from Johannesburg.
Decades, it's been tradition that the top Chinese diplomat's first foreign trip is to Africa. New Foreign Minister Qin Gang did just that. Beijing, in recent years, has invested heavily in infrastructure projects on the continent through its Belt and Road Initiative. Some analysts say the US is now playing catch-up with China in its dealings with Africa. In December, US President Joe Biden hosted a summit of African leaders in Washington. China does not see itself in competition with the US in Africa, said Chin while visiting Ethiopia. Here's Chin on Chinese state television.
What Africa needs is solidarity and cooperation, not bloc confrontation. No person or country has the right to force African countries or African people to take sides.
While in Ethiopia, Chin inaugurated the new $80 million Africa Center for Disease Control, built as China's gift. The opening of the Africa CDC was a diplomatic win for China, says Paul Natulia of the Africa Center for Strategic Studies.
Qin Gang's visit sought to send across certain strategic messages. The first being that the relationship between China and Africa is stable, it's multifaceted, and it's well anchored.
Chin had reportedly agreed to forgive an undisclosed amount of Ethiopia's debt and pledged aid for reconstruction in the northern region of Tigray following the end of a 2-year civil war. The chairman of the African Union Commission urged China to support the regional body in its quest for a permanent seat on the UN Security Council.
The African continent, with 1.3 billion inhabitants and 54 member states, has the right to be a member of this international governance and a permanent member of the Security Council.
From Ethiopia, Chin traveled to Benin and Gabon, which analysts say was in keeping with China's goal of expanding the Belt and Road Initiative into Francophone West Africa. He stopped in Angola, a key security partner, and then traveled to Egypt, strategically important to China because of its numerous investments there, including in the new administrative capital being built outside Cairo and the Suez Canal. Chin held meetings not only with Egyptian government officials, but with the Arab League, expressing his desire for an end to the Israel-Palestinian conflict. Analysts say Chin may be a different kind of foreign minister than his predecessors.
When he was an ambassador to the US, he was known for, being somewhat strident in some of his statements. Maybe he's come away from the US with his own perspective from engaging in those policy circles. So maybe he has some quite different angles and views on global diplomacy, just based even on that.
As Chin departed Africa, US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen arrived for a 3-nation visit to the continent, signaling the importance of Africa in geopolitics. Kate Bartlett for VOA News, Johannesburg.
Now, a statue in Benin, one of the female warriors of Dahomey, which appeared in the Hollywood film The Woman King, was likely built by a sanctioned North Korean company. This is according to evidence discovered by VOA's Korean service. In an exclusive interview with VOA, the Benin government denies the statue was constructed by North Korea. Henry Wilkins reports from Cotonou, Benin.
The female warriors of the Kingdom of Dahomey are a touchpoint in Benin's cultural history and a source of national pride. Their story was recently dramatised in the historical Hollywood film The Woman King. Since this statue was unveiled in Cotonou by President Patrice Talon in July 2022, it has drawn visitors from all over the country and region.
It's a symbol of struggle, because in their time it was almost unheard of to see women fighting instead of men and defending their territories.
The Amazons fought for Benin, for Dahomey. They were fighting women and played important roles in the country. I am glad I came to see this statue. It is very beautiful.
But a recent investigation by VOA Korean discovered the statue was likely built by the Mansudae Art Studio in North Korea, which is famous for creating statues of the country's dictators and, through its overseas project arm, monuments around the world. Mansudae is currently under United Nations sanctions designed to stop North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, from accessing foreign currency that could help finance the country's nuclear weapons program. The UN Security Council Sanctions Committee on North Korea, set up in 2006 to monitor the economic sanctions imposed on the country, does not speak publicly to protect the identity of its members, but it provided VOA with the following written statement on its investigation into the statue. The Benin authorities' response to the panel's questions contained in that report did not allay the panel's concerns that the construction of the statue had been a clear breach of UN sanctions against North Korea, and that the monies thereby gathered by the Mansudae Group could have contributed to the continuing development of North Korea's WMD programs. VOA spoke to Benin Tourism and Culture Minister Babalola Jean-Michel Hervé Abimbola and presented VOA Korean's evidence to him.
C'est une statue qui a été dessinée par un plasticien béninois.
It was designed by a Beninese artist called Julien Sinzogan, who is well known and can be identified. Benin then turned to companies that specialize in bronze casting. As far as I am concerned, it was made by China. But did they use Korean engineers? And from which Korea? I don't know. Only the foreign minister can say.
The VOA Korean investigation found the order for the statue was placed by Benin's government with the Blue Dragon International Development Company, believed to be a China-based front for Mansudae.
Cette interview n'est pas bonne, je la fais pas.
This interview is no good. It must be stopped. I am not doing it.
VOA was asked to stop recording. Even when sanctions are breached, the UN has little power to make the nations involved face consequences. Sanctions have so far proved ineffective in preventing North Korea from pursuing its nuclear weapons program. North Korean authorities did not respond to a request for comment. Henry Wilkins for VOA News, Cotonou, Benin.
Let's get sporty. Football Kenya Federation Premier League heavyweights Gor Mahia FC will be hoping to return back to winning ways as the team prepares to clash with Vihiga Bullets in the Kenya Premier League showdown slated for tomorrow. In other matches scheduled to be played tomorrow, struggling Mathare United will play host to Nairobi City Stars, while AFC Leopards will travel to Mbaraka Stadium in search of crucial 3 points. Kenya Police will be out to squeeze all 3 points against league leaders Nzoia Sugar at Nyayo Stadium. At the same time, the defending champions Tusker will continue with title defense battle with a clash against Sofapaka at Kasarani Annex Stadium. (2019) World Marathon Champion Ruth CHEPKOECH saw off steep competition from the likes of Sheila Chepkirui and Zena Jemutai from North Reef to clock 32 minutes and 56.4 seconds at the Kenya Prison Staff Training College Ruiru Kiambu. CHEPKOECH sealed her maiden national cross-country title held today when she swept the course from gun to tape. North Reef's Charles Katul Lokir brushed aside Isaac Bat from Western to second place to win the Lotto National Cross Country Championships men's 10 kilometers on Saturday. That story causes us to bring it to a close right here, the KUTV Weekend Live. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and special thanks to everyone that has made this bulletin a success. Now you can keep your feedback coming at KUTV_Kenya at Mercy IMBINDA using the hashtag KUTV Weekend Live. I just want to give a shout out to Ngugi wa Muricho watching from Muricho and Daragwa. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Young Poetic Nation tuning in from Nairobi. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you can get this bulletin and our subsequent bulletins on YouTube at KUTV Kenya or on our website at www.kutv.co.ke. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Ruth CHEPKOECH. I am IMBINDA Mercy. Have yourself a lovely night.